KSMO Radio, time for our spotlight on the Salem Memorial District Hospital. Mr. Jason Edwards has made his way in. Hello, sir.
How are we, my
Well,
friend?
we're doing well. We're doing well. Getting near baseball
I
season
know.
again.
We could talk on that all day long.
Yes, we could. Yes, we
Especially
could.
now
And
since I've got one going into baseball.
you got one going into baseball, and then you got a relation coaching it.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
His first
it's
year.
like a family affair.
I know, right? Oh, he's excited too.
I
He-
bet.
he's
Yeah,
gonna
he
do
came
wonderful.
in. Yeah. So he's
You got
working
him on air too.
Oh yeah, I've got him. We got some liners starting with him next week.
All
So
right.
talking about listening to baseball.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It'll be here.
He'll do a good job.
Actually,
And he's
next
excited.
Friday is the first game. That's hard to believe.
I know. With the hopefully the weather stays away. It'll be nice.
Yeah, it's supposed to be nice next week. So right before they get that first game in, they should be able to stay outdoors. Hopefully, pretty much the whole week. So
Yeah.
that would be the good thing.
Absolutely.
Be in the 60s, that'll be fine for March. You'd take that any day, wouldn't you? You played in some of those baseball games in March when it was,
Shoot.
20
Yeah.
something degrees.
Oh, 28. I remember snowing, sleeting on some days, but you know what? We played through it.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Makes men out of you.
I remember playing softball when I got older, playing in the snow.
Oh yeah.
Well, we were playing with a white softball. You get that snow, and it gets all of a sudden you try and pick that sucker up, and it's bigger than your hand. Wet snow on
Oh, yeah.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, that was different. I had never played in the snow. Somebody says, "Well, you never played until you play in the snow,"
Right.
and it's true. When you hit a ground ball, that thing just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You can't throw it. You actually have to knock it against your leg to knock the snow off and try and throw it when you pick it up. And it's super cold, and then you can't feel your hand.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
can't feel your hand to guide the ball, so you never know where it's going
That's
to go.
why I was always hoping to hit in the air. So I was catching. I was on the outfield at that time. So just hit it in the air, man.
And then your hand's so cold when you catch it.
Well, yeah, but at least it's not full of snow.
I know, right?
And all the snow got knocked off when he hit it with the bat. But anyway, that's not why we're here.
Again, we could talk
we
about baseball
could
all day
though.
long. Yeah.
We could say it's a very, very important trek of what we are. But it's good to have Jason with us. And my friend, we're getting into the time that people are going to start moving around again. So January, February, pretty sedentary. People really, and especially this past weather February, really sedentary with the way the weather did kick in. People just couldn't get out and about doing much of anything. So, but this is the time, obviously, to start thinking about good nutrition, a little exercise, start getting yourself back out there. And one of the things I think we really need to really remind people about how important our sun is in getting outside to get that right vitamin D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about, and it's not necessarily everybody's fault.
No.
Being that the weather and you can't get outside.
Right.
I mean,
and
yes,
there's no sun anyway.
Right. And you can do things inside. From doing stairs if you have stairs, walking. If you don't have treadmills, there's ways of doing exercises inside, but you don't get the quality of whenever you go outside.
Sure.
And again, like you said, going out and getting a good source of sunlight to get vitamin D. It's a good fat-soluble vitamin that our body requires. We have to have it. And that way we don't have to have supplementation. The older we get, we tend to have to take supplements because of those. We don't get outside enough, and our body doesn't process it that well. So to be able to get in good food sources, to be able to be nutritious and just staying active, now's the time of year when we start getting some good weather. Get out, get active.
Start walking a little bit. Just
Yeah.
get out there and enjoy it. And try and get out there in the sunny part of the day. Now, I know when July hits, you probably don't want to get out there
Oh, yeah.
in the super sunny part of the day, but the evening hours are still pretty good to get out there, or morning when the sun's coming up. You still want to get some of that sunshine. But one of the things, though, is that, and Jason, I see this all the time, people go out there and they start walking, and they don't bring any water with them. They
Absolutely.
don't bring any hydration with them whatsoever. Well, if you're going to be walking for 2, 3, 4, 5 miles, even if it's a high school track or, just walking around the streets of Salem or wherever you might be walking, trails out at Shawnee Mac or whatever, make sure you have water.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no reason you can't keep a bottle of water or something. Now they're having these backpacks. You can just wear them as backpacks, and that's actually a little bit additional weight while you're walking.
Right.
Helps.
Yeah.
So just having a beverage, or ultimately water's the best, or a something like a Gatorade or something, just replenish the electrolytes. Usually in the winter, people don't realize they don't feel as thirsty. you don't feel like you're getting all the sweat and all the, breathing all the vapors and out everything out of your mouth. You're losing water.
Right.
But
you are.
people get dehydrated.
Yeah.
In the winter, just as easy as you would in the summer. So, yeah, just be real sensible. Always carry a bottle of water with you. Stay hydrated.
I think in the winter when we start to get a little bit of moisture about us, whether it be in the face area, especially if you have a beard, you see that when you don't think you're expelling moisture until you see the ice crystals on your mustache and beard, you realize that moisture is going right out of your mouth and nose because that's just the way it is.
Right. I mean, you'll have milliliters and milliliters. I use milliliters and liters and all that when I talk, but I guess that's the dietitian. But
I guess so.
Over daily, I mean, you can't equate how much actually comes out of your body that you don't even realize just by breathing, let alone sweat.
Right. So when summer hits, that's super important, especially if you do gardening,
right,
or do something outdoors and you do perspire. I know some people perspire much heavier than others. I used to perspire crazily, not as much anymore. So my body has changed. Of course, I'm not outside doing those things anymore. But then, your body adjusts.
Right.
And one of the things I remember, I think we even talked about it one time. I used to work outside. I was working lawn equipment, things of that nature, and it was super hot that year. Matter of fact, no rain hardly ever came down. So we were outside in 95 to 105 degrees. And if it first starts hitting right after spring, boy, you're just melting out there. But after a while, your body adapts to that, and you don't actually perspire as much because your body knows how to hold on to that moisture a little bit better. But that doesn't mean you don't stop drinking water.
Right.
You still need to replenish.
Oh, yeah. And when you start messing with your electrolytes, that's when you really get in trouble. And you're not going to know until it happens. It's when you start getting flush and you start getting dizzy, and it's going to happen in an instant. And let me tell you, you're not going to hydrate in a matter of a few minutes. No, this takes days unless you have an IV or IV fluids and replacing saline and sodium back in your body and those electrolytes, which you would have to go to the hospital to do.
Sure.
But, yeah, so, I mean, be sensible and continuously drink. If you continuously drink in sips gradually through the day while you're exercising, which is what you need to do, you'll reduce the risk of becoming dehydrated.
Okay, and let's explain why you don't want to become dehydrated, because we all say, "Oh, we're dehydrated. We'll just go to the hospital and get an IV put in, and we'll be okay. We'll be fine." Maybe, but then again, maybe not. Your kidneys need moisture. They needs water going through it.
Constantly.
It needs to be cleansed, flushed, right? And then the same thing, your liver needs to have those same moisture in there as well. But kidneys will really start to bark at you a little bit if you don't. And here's the bad thing about that. All of a sudden, your creatinine level just starts to skyrocket. And you can be in some big trouble in a very short period of time by getting dehydrated. I don't think people realize, you may not even know it, but you're not sitting at a lab where you're getting your creatinine checked every 5 minutes. You may be fine one day, and then within a week, you could be in some trouble, couldn't you?
Absolutely. And if you have other comorbidities like high blood pressure, diabetes, these things that automatically deal with the kidneys as well, causing problems, and then you throw dehydration on top of it, you have stages of kidney disease. So, I mean, stage 1, 2, 3, all the way up into dialysis. Now, this can occur, and you can get kidney damage from dehydration instantly, especially if you have those other comorbidities. And then all of a sudden, you're staged at stage 3, when previously you didn't even think, well, I didn't have a problem.
Right.
So that's why it's very important to stay dehydrated. Even more when you've got things like high blood pressure and diabetes, but it's just as important with somebody that doesn't have a comorbidity as they do. Yeah.
So your body is not just craving moisture when you work out and sweat. It needs it. It has to have it.
Right.
It's not optional. It's not say, hey, I just need to get the sweat out of me. I don't want to get that water weight. How many times have you ever heard that? It's just water weight that I lost. No, that's all the moisture in your body that your body needs to have. You know,
Well,
yeah,
look,
you
look at
lose
those
it.
athletes. Look
Oh,
at the
yeah.
athletes whenever they'll go to a practice, and they'll weigh before, and whenever they're on a nice hot day, you'll weigh them after, and there's loss.
Oh, there's a lot of
Because
loss.
it's fluid loss.
Right.
And that has to be replenished.
Yeah, and I can give you a classic example of that. Years ago, when I was playing Division I college hockey, the St. Louis University Billikens had a booth at the Strassenfest, downtown St. Louis, to raise money for the program. Okay, well, with only one local guy that played for the team, guess who got to play goaltender in the
All right.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Except you're wearing 35 pounds worth of equipment. It was 97 degrees, and I was in there for 7 hours.
Wow.
Okay.
I can relate on wearing equipment and being hot.
Yeah, I know you can. Not 7 hours though,
Nope.
straight, and
No,
on
you're right about
artificial
that.
ice, and guys shooting pucks at you
Yeah.
from 10 feet. That you didn't have to do, but
catch the
but
one in the middle.
yeah, exactly. But I realized at the end of the day, you know, and finally one of the guys said, "You need a break." I said, "Yeah, I would really like one." So I hadn't had a drink the whole time I was in there. Now you talk about somebody that lost some weight. I lost like 21 pounds. I was weighed 159
Right.
at the time. When I got done, they were like, you need to start drinking water. And they said, we wanted you to come back tomorrow, but I don't think so. I said, you're right. You don't think so, because I'm not coming back tomorrow. If I come back, I'll work the front, but somebody else can go in there and sweat.
Right.
But that was the thing is that can happen just that quickly. And if you don't recognize it, you know, I really didn't have time to stop because it was a brand new booth. Nobody had ever seen anything like this before. It was artificial ice. It was real ice. We're on skates. It's hot out there, you know, and people just don't get it. They're all out having a good time and enjoying themselves, and I'm getting shot at, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of fun for us, but it was okay. We made a lot of money for the program.
Right.
But sometimes you do it at the expense of your health. Well, like I said, I got done probably about 10 o'clock that night. I was there at 3:30, so 6.5 hours. And by the time I got all the equipment off, and then somebody else volunteered to go in there and never played goal before, you know, I said, I'm sorry about the equipment, but it's going to be soaked, you know. And he goes, yeah, beyond soaked. It's just nasty. Yes, I understand. But, you know, the thing was, Jason, that was very dangerous. And as a young person, you do recover a little bit quicker, but you don't want to tax your body like that because it can shut down. Your body can just shut down, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, you came up with a good story when you're talking about sports. Back in, I guess it was high school, I played, you know, when we had double headers.
Sure.
Of course, you probably played double headers
yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
And I was a catcher. You know, you're wearing your equipment. And I caught both games. And I remember I was in West Plains. And after the game, I was so dehydrated. We wound up making it to eat because I needed to get some carbohydrate and something in my system and hydrate. And I started spasming. You know, my legs locked up. It was almost like I was in tetanus, but from my abdominal muscles, my legs, calves, everything locked up. Sheer pain. And until all those muscles relaxed and I got fluid in my system, they wouldn't release.
Yeah.
So it's very, very hard on the body, and now these kids are taking supplements and that they don't need.
Right.
You know, these creatines that are going to naturally dehydrate your body, and they're drinking them in liquids. So they thinking they're hydrating, but they're not. They're actually dehydrating themselves. They're great for replenishing after workouts, but not during physical activity to where, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So it's very important to stay hydrated consistently through sporting activities, and not just sporting activities, just being active.
Outside, yeah. So we kind of got off onto the sports side of it, but it's everyday activities.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're gardening, cutting the grass, doing things outside, you know, we got springtime coming up. People are going to be painting their houses. They're going to be trimming their bushes and raking leaves and getting the stuff out of the gutters and stuff. Hey, you get on top of a roof, and all of a sudden that temperature on the grass down below might be 78, 80 degrees. You get on that roof with tar, and all of a sudden it's 98 on that roof. It gets a lot hotter, a lot more intense to your body, and you may perspire a lot more. So keep all these things in mind. But doesn't mean we want to stop moving. Doesn't mean we want to stop doing the right things and eating the right foods. And I say that because we're kind of getting in the middle of a lot of people love college basketball. We're getting ready for March Madness, which usually means marathon basketball days, which means chips and pizzas and all kinds of great foods that you might enjoy immensely. But when you do that for 18 straight days, it's probably not good on your body, is it?
No, because I'm not saying pizza all the time is bad for you, but because there's good complex,
Sure,
there's
absolutely.
carbohydrates there, there's vegetables that you're going to get, and of course, dietitian, I can justify anything. But things like being conscious of what you're putting in your body every day. So when you think of pizza, you think deep dish pizza, well, there's a lot more additional carbohydrate and fat added to that.
Sure, absolutely.
Then you go to a thin crust when there's less fat, less carbohydrate from the crust.
Sure.
Then you think the sauces, well, I mean, it's tomato-based sauce, so you got some good vegetables and stuff to put on the pizza. Being conscious of what types of pizza you're putting in your body. Now, if you start looking at all the proteins, a lot of sodium nitrite, all those additional things that you do not need. So do we need all the proteins on that? Or do we just need the vegetables and the cheeses and, be a little bit more sensible in what you're deciding to do? Now, eating like that consistently,
Not a good idea.
not a good idea.
Yeah, especially being sedentary and eating like that all the time.
Absolutely.
One of the things Jason a long time ago told me, he said, when you get that, your body it gets into a flow. If you eat naturally, limit your amount that you eat sensibly, watch out for the fats. Just eat a good meal. It really is kind of fun when I eat a good meal, and I don't always get a chance to do that.
Oh, yeah.
How
Absolutely.
that is, and
Got a busy
especially.
lifestyle.
Yeah, especially when you have basketball playoffs and you go down there, and they don't have sensible foods at those hospitality rooms. They got chicken wings and pizzas, and they've got lasagnas, and lots of great food, but not exactly what you may want to do. A lot of times, I remember years ago, one time I went to Union, and they actually had a veggie tray. I was shocked.
Yeah.
No cookies and brownies, veggie trays. I thought, good.
There you go.
So I had some carrots and celery, and I was good to go. I didn't need any of that other stuff. But
One of these years we'll move up to fruit.
yeah, there you go. But the idea is that instead of having the pizzas and your Doritos and potato chips and Fritos and everything, and sitting there watching basketball from 11 in the morning until 11 at night, how about some carrot sticks? How about some celery? How about an apple or an orange? Drink a nice little thing of water, get your nice big cup of water, constantly keep it filled up and, fluid going through your system with those veggies and the fruits that you have. Wouldn't that be a much better way to watch
Absolutely.
March Madness?
Well, if you think all of the decrease in the amount of calories you've just consumed compared to the other option, okay, not only that, the vitamins and minerals that you're putting in your body, those vitamins and minerals have so many processes in the body that you're lacking with the other food types.
Okay.
So when you're adding these, you say carrots, beta carotene, vitamin A, vitamin C, all your vitamins and minerals that you need to function, make your body function appropriately where it otherwise wouldn't, you start seeing increases in metabolism, increases in energy. You feel better. You want to eat better. You start craving those foods, and that's what you want to get to. So, yes, if you would start getting that type of lifestyle, you don't have to do it right away.
No.
Gradually.
Over time. Sure.
Gradually. Just start gradually increasing those foods in your body, and you'll start craving those types of foods.
I virtually have a fruit every night. About between 9 and 10 o'clock. I used to get really hungry. So, sometimes I'd have a Rice Krispie treat here or a cookie here or whatever it was. And, I don't need that. I'd rather have fruit. Sometimes I'll even do celery sticks if I have them because I really like celery sticks. But I might do that. But it's always something that's good for me. So I'm not going to sleep on an empty stomach, but I'm not getting something that's half a pizza.
Right.
Or something like that that's going to lay on my stomach. it's going to make you feel just horrible the next morning. You always told me about that. Just go out there and have that big meal you want to the next day. See how you feel the next morning. Oh, God. It's hard to get out of bed. You're dragging. You get in the shower, and then you're just praying for that first cup of coffee. Wake me up. Get me going. Find something to do. Because you don't feel that. You don't feel that energy anymore, just like you said. Cutting back on your amounts that you eat, streamlining it, maybe even eat an extra meal if you cut it back so much that you don't, maybe you're going to eat, instead of eating a big meal at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, eat a smaller meal at 11:30 and then eat another little small meal at 2.
Right. It's what you're putting in your body. It's those types of food. And it's funny you said, talking about weight and, eating excess foods. I mean, you think of your body like a car. When you put fuel in the tank, a car runs off gas, right?
Right.
So
unless it's electric.
Well, that's true. That's true. Well, we can use the same concept, I guess, the electricity.
So if you charge the battery, right?
All right, there you go. So you're going to be running, the car's going to run off gas. The gas is going to be, for us, our body is carbohydrate. Fats we can use as fuel, but carbohydrates, main source of fuel. So when we put the gas in the car, and we run it, and it's running. Just think of it that way. You're continually adding gas to that car. Okay? Normally, if you're just not exercising, the car's on idle. So it's just burning the gas, burning the gas, burning the gas. Well, you're still feeding it, but if you're feeding those high amounts of carbohydrates, high amounts of fats, just think of that gas pump nozzle being squeezed a little bit more, and you're filling that tank. Well, eventually the tank's fills up, so where does the excess gas go? Unfortunately, it doesn't go on the ground for our body.
No.
It's stored as adipose tissue, which is our fat tissue. So that's where weight gain comes. So the key is when it comes to weight loss and putting the right types of food in, we don't want to squeeze that gas pump constantly. We just want to gradually trickle it and increase the RPMs in our motor.
There you go. And you lose weight. Naturally, because that's the way it is. And that's one of the reasons, or one of the things I want to talk about, because, Jason, this time of year, you start seeing all the fad diets. The ladies want to get into those bathing suits. The guys all want to, they want that rippled, abdomen effect. When they get out there, they want that six-pack look and all that stuff. Okay, more than likely, that ain't going to happen. It takes a long time to get that done, guys. Yes. I remember having one. It didn't take long to get rid of it, but it sure took a lot of work to get it. Absolutely. And when you have it and you sit there and think, well, that was easy, your life is not over yet. And, to be able to do that on a consistent basis when you're above 18 and 20 years old really takes a lot more work to keep it that way. And because you will change your lifestyle. Your metabolism isn't as high as it used to be. And you may not want to work out as hard as you used to. I know years ago I used to get up every morning. When I did Year Old Today, I'd get in, I'd work out for 20 minutes to a half hour every morning. When I got older, I thought, you know what? I really don't want to do that anymore. But I was already up and going.
Yep. It does. It takes willpower. It takes a lot of willpower.
You kind of lose that desire, but then your body knows that. So you're not pushing it anymore. You're not making it work anymore. You're not using those muscles like you did anymore. And so suddenly you watch your weight. It just starts to trickle up just a little. Next thing you know, where'd I gain that 10 pounds? It didn't take much. And I didn't really eat anything different, but I just wasn't doing that workout, that 20-minute workout every morning like I used to. So you get to that stage. But the thing I want to remind people about is these fad diets that tell you, I remember the Atkins diet and this diet and this diet and this diet and all these different diets. And you got the grapefruit diet and you got the water diet and everything else. These fad diets are not good on your body, are they?
No, these are things that you're going to see fast change. A lot of times it's fluid change.
Yeah.
Now I won't say that you won't see diets out there that won't take off fat, off the body. I think of mostly like your Atkins diet, the ketogenic diet, things like that. Those diets were made, I say medicinally, those diets were for seizures, which... And if you think of it, God made our body pretty ingenious. He was, if you're on a deserted island and you only have coconuts and fish, and there's no carbohydrate, and all you have is fat and protein, yes, your body can survive, which is actually wonderful.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
But it's not made for that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Your body needs fuel sources.
Needs balance.
Yes. But to be able to have it, to be able to survive is great. But studies over time, when kids with seizure activity, your brain can run off ketones, and they weren't having the seizures as bad. So that's where these ketogenic diets came from.
Okay.
It's not meant for like weight loss. I think of it more medicinally, but it's been utilized
But that's what
as weight loss.
that's what they started being associated with.
Yeah, that's a lifestyle they had to use it for.
Yeah.
But over time, there's really, it could cause other problems in the body. Kidney problems. You have a high protein content.
Sure.
If it's, and it's really damaging to the kidneys when you have so much protein in the body, not enough fluid. So these fad diets, they're a quick to take off weight, but it's not something to stay on. So it's not something you want to stay on a diet that is going to be consistent, calorie controlled, all the nutrition that you need to make your body completely healthy.
So basically, as we're heading into the spring season, to do your best. Nobody's telling you to go out there and try and lose 35 pounds. But if you start eating the right foods, you'll eventually see those pounds start to wane off a little bit. As long as you do something, just get up and move. We're not telling you got to go run a marathon, though. There's plenty of going to be 5K runs and 10K runs coming up in March. Healthy Den County's got a program coming up from couch to 5K, and that's basically what we're talking about here is getting you started. The hardest part is getting started. Once you get up, you're doing that, and then you're going to find your body is starting to crave other things besides just those wonderful potato chips and your pizzas and maybe your big old sub sandwiches with everything you like on it. I mean, it can get you really hungry really quick.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as Jason told me a long time ago, it's okay to slip up a little bit and have one of those big pizzas or that sandwich that you crave. Just know that if you do that 2 or 3 days in a row,
you're going to feel it.
You're really going to feel it. You're going to start dragging because you've gotten I won't say cleansed. I think that's a bad word people use all the time. But I think your body's become acclimated to a much better diet, and then you start to throw in stuff. It goes, what are you doing?
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do with this?
Try it. I mean, I don't say try it. Don't try it. But if you notice, like, if you're used to watching a really good, healthy diet, all vitamins, minerals your body needs, and you're at pretty good peak optimal health with your nutritional status, and then you start, like you said, changing them to pizzas and stuff. But really try, don't do this, but if you were to have desserts more, then start seeing how you feel. Because you talk about a slug.
Oh, I'll bet.
All that high carbohydrate, high sugar, simple sugars in your system. Oh, yeah. You'll sleep well.
Now, yeah, and there was a study done, and I hate to use this as an example because it's not fair to that business. It could have been any business, but this guy ate McDonald's every day, every meal. Yeah, Do you remember that study?
Yep.
Started out at 177 pounds and finished it in 1 month, 236 pounds.
Fatty liver disease.
Yeah, he was not in good health. As a matter of fact, they had to go and put him on such a stringent. But he ate nothing but, And was this a very smart experiment? Probably not. Not that long one. He probably didn't need to do it that long. But you gain 60 pounds over a period of a month. That's like 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a day.
Yep.
And I don't know this guy was a journalist, so you would think he'd be out and about. But talk about feeling like a slug. I'm sure he did.
He probably became a slug.
And he got rid of all that weight. He was able to get back to his other weight. But it took him 5 months to get back there. And they did it safely because they didn't want him to try and just go on a diet and stop all this, because you eventually have to get your body acclimated to a different kind of diet. it'll change quickly, but you don't want to do that. So basically our conversation today is when the sun starts to come out, get out, try and walk around, do some good things, get some natural vitamin D, enjoy the sunshine, drink plenty of fluids, and eat some good meals out there. You know, one of the neat things coming up, Jason, this time of year is farmers market. Natural veggies, homegrown, in the ground.
Absolutely.
You got watermelons, you got cantaloupes, you got tomatoes, and fresh lettuce and the cucumbers and everything else coming out of the ground, maybe even green beans and things of that nature. Hey, eat that to your heart's desire, because, you know, you only get, 5 months of that, basically, in our state, just about 5 months of that.
You know, and once and I'm glad you said that, when you're having, that's fresh, plucked straight to you.
Yeah.
Whenever the vitamins start to denaturize, or however I'm not pronouncing that right, but you start losing the vitamins as soon as it's plucked off the vine, or whatever it's come off of. So the sooner you can get that in your body, the more vitamins and minerals you're going to get. Now, I'm not saying going to the store, you're not getting, eating fresh fruits and vegetables from the store. You're still getting that, but you're not getting it like you would from the farmer's market.
Pick it off the tree. That plum off the tree never tasted so good until you put it in your mouth.
Absolutely.
And then your first bite, you cannot describe a first bite of fruit when it comes right off a tree, unless you've ever done it.
Yeah. Oh, I have.
I have too. I mean, our neighbor had a plum tree, and I used to go up there, almost get myself sick sometimes because I'd eat one. It's so good. Then I ate two. The second one was pretty good too. That third one all of a sudden really got sweet. I think my body was telling me you've had enough.
Yep.
You're going to turn into a plum if you don't stop it. So,
the body will tell you.
Yes, the body will tell you, and so you listen to your body, and when it tells you to stop, stop.
Time to stop.
Yeah. Thank you for coming in, my friend.
Always
good to see you. Jason Edwards, the SMDH Nutritionist. And if anybody has any questions about maybe doing something in the spring, maybe the couch to 5K, something of that nature, you can help them with a good, sensible diet, and really reducing some of your portions really helps a lot too.
Absolutely.
But eating the right foods, right?
Absolutely. Just, you can give us a call at the hospital at 729-6626. My extension is 2110. And if you talk to your provider and you need a consultation, you have them send it my way, and we'll take care of you.
Right, and he can put a plan together for you that's a pretty good plan. I actually have had that done myself. So I was able to, and I still say, my wonderful, no, I'm still about 10 pounds overweight.
We'll blame it on the winter.
Blame it on the chair.
It happens to all of us. I'm a dietitian, and it still happens to myself. So life is life.
Well, when you get to the wintertime, you just don't exert yourself. I mean, I'm already kind of, and I know this sounds crazy, I'm already craving the grass cutting and things of that nature to get back out there, because it's the best exercise that I get. And the older you get, you probably don't do as much as you normally used to. I know I don't. I don't go play softball anymore. I don't do those things anymore. So you don't do the same activities you used to. Walking is great. I don't jog much. Knees don't really like it.
Don't jive.
Yeah. We only have an outdoor pool, so you can't really go swimming in the wintertime. So there's a lot of things that we aren't able to do, which is, I think, part of the reasons why the weight does go up. 10 pounds, I'd be happy losing 10 pounds over the period of time, and I know I will, but I'll fluctuate. I'll go between one weight and another, about 7 or 8 pound swing. It all depends on what's going on and how much I can do, where I am, and how much I can eat, what I want to eat.
Right.
But
it's hard to just do it alone.
It is.
You can't you can eat healthy and be just as healthy as can be, eating all the fruits and vegetables that your body needs, and not be active. And you could still lose weight, but you couldn't lose what you could potentially lose by being active and doing the same thing.
Right. Get that metabolism going. You'll feel it. Get that heart rate up. Your heart's a muscle. It needs to be worked out a little bit, but don't overwork it.
Don't overwork it.
All right, buddy. You have a great day. Rest of the day. Jason Edwards from the Salem Memorial District Hospital, and our spotlight on the hospital. We'll have some weather coming up next, and then the Brownfield Opening Livestock and Grain Report on KSMO Radio.